Think of WWF, and chances are you'll think of the panda. It represents how we save animals by protecting them where they live. And the panda's home needs urgent protection. Only around 1,600 wild pandas remain, solitary, rarely seen, and needing your help.
Historically, the greatest threat to the giant panda has been the loss of its habitat through extensive logging and through extensive growth of agriculture. And you can imagine why that is with the growing population of China. But most recently, the biggest threat has been the development of roads, railways, and the building of dams, all very necessary for the local people, but something we have to work on with the government to make sure that when they're built, we do it in the best way for the giant panda. For example, building roads so that there are tunnels where pandas need to move across.
The few small groups of pandas that remain are split across 20 or so isolated locations.
What we've learnt over the last 10, 20, 30 years is that when there is a small population, maybe as low as 30, then that whole population can disappear over a period of about 10 years following that. And that's mainly because of things such as inbreeding, lack of food when bamboo will die back, and they basically have nowhere to go to find the food and the mates that they need.
Roads, pipelines, and other development can all impact on breeding. And that's a serious threat to each group's survival, as females can breed for only a few days each year. When you adopt them, you will support WWF's work to monitor, understand, and protect these rare, shy, and vulnerable creatures. We'll keep you posted about Zhu Xiong. Like all pandas, Zhu Xiong is elusive. She lives in China's Wanglang Nature Reserve, one of around 70 panda reserves we've helped to establish since the 1980s. This has relied on close work with the Chinese government.
Much of our work to conserve the giant panda is very dependent on the local people who live alongside the giant panda, none more so than those who live in the forest and who live in the nature reserves, and those guys who go out day and night and monitor the nature reserve, go along the patrolling routes and make sure the panda is as safe as he possibly can be. And this was really brought home to me a couple of years ago when the terrible earthquake hit China. It was in 2008, and it was just amazing. Within 48 hours, those guys, many who had lost members of their own families, were back out there trying to clear the routes so they could actually try and see whether those giant pandas were safe.
Pandas rely on a diet of bamboo and must eat for up to 14 hours a day to gain enough nutrition. As part of the natural cycle, periodically the bamboo dies back, so the panda's food simply disappears and they must move on. But what if there's nowhere for them to move to? Protecting the remaining forests is clearly vital, and we must create and maintain safe corridors so pandas can move between areas. In the Minshan Mountains of China, WWF has reconnected two groups of pandas that had been cut off from each other for more than 20 years. We have trained hundreds of local staff, real local heroes. Away from the spotlight, their commitment gives hope that the pandas will survive. As we look ahead, what sort of future do we want for pandas? Roads, railways, industrial expansion, and a life on the edge of survival? Or a safe life in peaceful forests?
Your support for the Giant Panda Adoption Programme is really important. Not only does it give us the resources we need to help conserve the giant panda, it's very important to the public in China to know that the public in the UK really support their work and care about what they're doing.
Please, adopt them today. Please call now or visit the website and you'll have the thrill of hearing about Zhu Xiong and the other pandas protected by WWF.